For my research project, I chose to explore the effects of artificial intelligence on multimedia processing. Now, for as long as I can remember, I've always been interested in artificial intelligence and how it affects the world around it. So when it came time to pick a topic for my research project, I knew I wanted it to involve AI. Through my research, I was pleasantly surprised to discover just how many applications AI has in multimedia processing. From facial recognition to multimedia network security, AI is continuously improving the world. In the first article that I researched, the authors explained multiple experiments that resembles a loop and exemplifies the very crucial relationship that AI and multimedia processing have developed with one another over the many years that they've been used together. This first test is called multimedia recognition, in which speech and body language interactions between real-life people are used and recorded. And then those recordings are used to train artificial intelligence to better recognize similar interactions between people in videos and movies. Apple's Face ID and Touch ID technology take advantage of something called multimodal deep learning methods. The researchers want to test their model with a form of the Turing test using multimedia data in the future. The version of the Turing test that the authors present in their paper is called the Multimedia Turing test. In this test, there are two elements, the visual element and audio element. To pass the visual element of the test, an AI would need to possess human-like reasoning ability. If you don't know what the original Turing test is, it's a test where a human and a computer are set up and they interact with one another. If the computer is able to trick the human into thinking that the human is talking to another person, then by the law of the Turing test, the computer has passed the Turing test. In my second article of research, the authors want to solve the problem that only 25% of the world's population understands content that is produced in languages other than their native language. Using their newly proposed modular translation method, they hope to make the dubbing of movies and videos more accurate. The first step in the new process is to recognize the original source language and make a transcript. Then align the transcript with the original audio using timestamps. Next, the words are matched with timestamps to create accurately timed sentences. And then, the sentences are translated into any language that's needed. Finally, the translated sentences are moved to the text-to-speech module to produce matching audio, and the newly produced audio is then passed to the speech-to-lip module, which matches the original body language and lip movement to the new audio that was generated. Another example of AI translation being used is with the movie Fall, where the directors used AI facial synchronization to correct some of the actor's speech. I would like to show you.
It was interesting to find out that they actually had to deep fake the actress's mouth in order to get a PG-13 rating. Because like I said, with a $3 million budget, they had them up there doing their own touch-ups. Grace was shooting her own iPhone scenes, but that also meant that they were doing a lot of ad-libbing that ended up equaling 35 F-bombs. So they used this technique that they called vubbing, where it uses artificial intelligence to shift actors' lips and their face to line up the dubbing.
Wenn du irgendetwas brauchst, hab ich hier. Geh, Jellybean.
The director of the movie also just so happens to be one of the co-founders of the AI studio, so expect to see this done in a lot of foreign movies, especially through Netflix, who's already the king of dubs, and this just might
I thought that was very interesting.
be the next step.
I'm not sure. How do we get down?
In the future, the authors want to develop their model in such a way that it requires no human intervention. In my opinion, this model will not only help spread entertaining content to a wider audience, but also it will help spread informative and emergency information. News stations and other emergency services could use this technique to better prepare people for disasters like floods, earthquakes, and fires. In the third article that I wrote, the authors present many issues that occur with traditional authentication methods of conventional computer networks. They hope to present new authentication methods using artificial intelligence. Some of these challenges include unbalanced growth and low computational costs and high security, meaning that when a computer system or network system is built, most of the time performance is taken into account, but not the security costs. And so security is kind of put to the wayside and not really considered. Another challenge is complex authentication process, which produces latency in real-time multimedia networks, which means that when the content of the multimedia network is transferred, it can end up choppy or unreadable, and it's not very usable. With the constant and overwhelming growth of multimedia networks, conventional authentication techniques cannot keep up with the network and quickly become outdated. Current authentication processes require the use of complex information for the authentication process that not only costs computational resources but also, in many cases, the use of a secondary application. The authors propose the use of a lightweight physical layer authentication model, or LPLA for short. This model is designed to use artificial intelligence for extracting the authentication attributes without requiring the variation channel pattern that conventional methods need to use. In the future, the authors hope to continue to use artificial intelligence to improve physical security attributes. They also hope to answer a few questions, such as how does their model perform in high intensity communication environments and scenarios that multimedia networks often are used to handle. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I had a lot of fun researching this project and I learned a lot through this experience. So thank you for listening. Have a great day.